Welcome to Nine's Wide World of Sports and the highlights of the second of the Benson Hedges World Series Cup games. This one played at the SCG, and a special welcome to BBC viewers, England taking part in their first match in this Cup series. Conditions very, very good here at the SCG, and Australia confident after their victory over New Zealand last weekend, from which they took 2 points. Tony Gregg is out in the centre now to tell us what conditions are like out there.
Conditions in the middle seem to be superb for one-day cricket. The pitch has been used before, and that's good news because that invariably means a better wicket for one-day cricket. Have a look at that. Very dry in the surface, just a few little tinges of green in places, which probably result in it being quite quick, and this pitch always does come onto the bat pretty well anyhow. It's pretty firm and there's not much moisture in the surface, and because it's a one-day game, of course, it's not going to change too much. The moisture content, having a look at that, registering at 78, which is normal and has been the case in most of the pitches we've played on. But all up, it looks to me to be a very good pitch for one-day cricket, largely because it's fast. What are the captains going to do? Well, I don't really think it makes any difference. It depends really on whether they prefer batting or fielding at night.
The two teams here today, Australia, go into the match with Dyson, Vessels, Chappell, Hughes, Hooks, Border, Marsh, Lawson, Thompson, Hogg and Rackerman, with Yardley 12th man, the same side as the one defeating New Zealand last weekend. And England have a rather unusual looking team there. They've brought Trevor Jesty into the side, and they're playing those two off spinners mentioned earlier, Jeff Miller and Vic Marks, and they have Cowans and Willis and Ian Botham to do the pace work with Trevor Jesty. So a fine day, a massive crowd here, the gates to be closed just a few minutes after the start of play, and we pick it up now in the third over. Just 7 runs on the board. Bob Willis, the England captain, is coming in to bowl to Kepler Vessels, and your commentators Bill Laurie and Keith Stackpole.
Oops, well, there you go, we threw that up. We went for the off drive, got inside edge, and it raced away to the boundary. Into the over, no wicket for 11.
Young stars in the making, starting early, learning the game. Such valuable experience.
Just glancing over at Fred Truman, yeah, stars in his eyes. He, of course, used to bowl those outswingers that used to curve a long way and quite late. And the sight of yet another Englishman swinging it away, no doubt doing him a lot of good. And he's bowled it! That's the one! That ball swung to, and Kepler Vessels' stumps are lying scattered on the ground. A big breakthrough that for England, and a breakthrough affected by the outswinger bowled by Norman Cowans.
This is the delivery I was talking about. It's pitched it leg and middle, and it's gone through, and the leg stump's gone out. And that's well bowled, Norman Cowans. He'll be over the moon with that delivery. So that's Australia's first wicket down, 1 for 26.
Botham to Greg Chappell.
That's in the air, it's going up in the air, this has got to be out. He's gone, the bouncer's got Chappell again. That one skied high up in the air, and Marks makes his first contribution in major matches in Australia.
It's the wicket that the England boys wanted. And Ian Botham, I think, a bit of kidology, and then he banged this one in. And it was on Chappell, a little bit too quick. It probably bounced a little more than he thought. And very high on the bat, he can only sky it to Vic Marks at that short mid-on position. And that's Australia's second wicket down for 33.
The man in your picture there is Trevor Jesty. He bowls medium paces, very medium paces. seems to have a problem with his arm there. But he bowls little outswingers, and he's on his way now, replacing Cowans and bowling to Dyson. That's very wide and signalled wide. So not a great start for Trevor Jesty. And I wonder, Fred, whether that would be the first time he's had a white ball in his hand.
Jesty to Hughes.
That's out. He's caught behind. So Jesty has had a magic start. And have a look at his face. Well, a couple of wides down the offside, a wide ball down the leg side, and now an outside edge. And Australia's captain on his way back to the pavilion.
That's the danger when the ball's swinging away and you go for the shot. Finished up swinging a little bit more, reaching for it and finding the edge. And what a start there for Trevor Jesty. He's absolutely delighted, over the moon. 2 wides, 1 down the leg side. And then the wicket, the prized wicket of Kim Hughes. Australia now 36 for the loss of 3 wickets.
Ian Botham comes in now. David Hooks is taking strike. Just short of the rope, and it didn't seem to me to be all that much offline. It pitched round about leg stump, but Hooks got it away very strong. 3 for 43. 31 to Dyson. Here's Vic Marks, and he's done him with that Yorker. That's very well bowled by Vic Marks. He had David Hooks in trouble right after the first over when he bowled a couple of full tosses, but he's dropped right onto line and length now, and Hooks giving himself a bit of room there, frustrated, trying to get it away on the onside, and it's now 4 for 77. Trevor Jesty comes in now from the Randwick end, bowling to Dyson.
Fine shot there from John Dyson. Half volley as Jesty keeps the ball up there trying to swing it. That was magnificently hit off drive. And Border decides to go over the top. A very good shot it is too. Wide of Jeff Miller and bouncing just inside the boundary rope. Timing the ball very nicely with that heavy bat of his.
A lot of spin in limited over cricket these days, but Bob Willis, and the responsibility of his tack, Miller.
He's got him out. That wasn't a good shot by Alan Border, just as Keith Stackpole was suggesting the spin may not be the answer. That was a foolish shot, one of the very few from Alan Border. He charged, it was short of the length, he tried to hoik it over mid-wicket, bowled as clean as a whistle.
Bob Willis just showing that the tactics are the right ones that he's using, having both off spinners on, and a good delivery from Jeff Miller. Beat Alan Border with a bit of flight. Border lifted his head, took his eye off it momentarily, and suffered the fate of being bowled. So Border out for 22, and Australia now 5 for 118.
Marks to Marsh.
Sweeps again, and ordinarily goes back onto his stumps, and he's whipping dangerously. Missed stumping on the leg side in the last over. Once again going to sweep, just missed the stumps.
Rodney Marsh, isn't he struggling with the bat these days? Fortunately then, that one hitting him on the gloves too, after it rebounded up off the pad.
He's out, he's gone, caught it backward square, trying to loft over the infield. Straight to Randall with backward square leg, and Marks has struck again for England. A strange shot from John Dyson, who was playing so well, tried to clear the infield, and Randall took a straightforward catch.
In one respect, a good innings from John Dyson, but what a way to get out. A terrible shot from him. Should have realised the circumstances behind this game now, and unfortunately for Australia, John Dyson out 1 run short of the 50, and Australia now 6 for 124.
Jeff Miller bowls to Rodney Marsh.
It's in the air, that's not a good shot. Bobby Taylor's coming from behind the stumps, and he doesn't make any mistake, and I can't work that out. A man who's played 90 test matches, this is the 38th over, and that needs some explaining. Not really keeping their head down, and the big crowd roar as Bobby Taylor runs 20 metres to take that catch.
Terrible cricket from Rodney Marsh, looking for the big hit. Surely he knows the setup of this game at the moment. Occupation of the crease is the name of the game. And Bobby Taylor doing the right thing, coming around. He's the man with the gloves on, and quite a simple catch for him. But another wicket to the off-spinners and exit Rodney Marsh. And now Australia 7 for 132.
Botham to Lawson.
Stick, I think, Botham back in the attack. Good shot. Lawson driving down the ground. It was a little uppish. Botham threw his hand out. But that one raced away down the ground for 4.
Jeff Miller to Thompson.
He's bowled him. Thompson hitting across the line. And he's comprehensively bowled by Jeff Miller. And that is a big blow to Australia. So 5 wickets now between the off-spinners. This is how it happened. Thompson right across the line to what looked like an arm ball to me. And so Thompson on his way back to the pavilion. And Australia 8 for 158.
Botham to Lawson.
You don't have to bowl down the leg side to contain. That's far better. I know it's gone over the top, but a better chance of getting him out if you bowl somewhere around a length on that off and middle. Not a very good over from Ian Botham. 10 runs came off that over.
Well played. Nice and delicately tucked away on the leg side. Hogg coming on, he's misfielded it. Taveray has misfielded a very straightforward rolling ball, and it's gone over the boundary.
This is when the pressure gets to fieldsmen. What happened there was that he took his eye off the ball. Come to the end of the overs, you can see Taveray here misfielding that. He can't believe it. What would have been possibly 1 run gave 3 away, and this Taveray, the man who has to face the wrath of that crowd behind him.
In the air, and he's got it. Well caught. Well, that was very, very well caught. Norman Cowans in his follow-through there certainly had to stop in his tracks and get back very quickly. Sure, he juggled it once or twice, but he did very well.
They will be very pleased about this. He did well here, did Norman Cowans, to reach. Nice juggling act, but in the finish he pouched it, and that's his 3rd wicket. Correction, that's his 2nd wicket. And so it's now 9 for 175.
Australia 9 for 107.5. Lawson on strike has 28, and the field pretty scattered. He's hit that and hit that beautifully. Racing away down to the deep extra cover boundary. Taveray won't cut it off. What a beautiful shot by Jeff Lawson. Well, he wouldn't have played a better cover drive than that one.
He hasn't bowled for about 2 hours. Understandable if he bowls a half volley. But he'll be a little bit upset that Australia have got to 179. And at one time 160 looked at that as far as they were going to get.
Oh, there's a mix-up. There's a big mix-up. And there's a fielding mix-up too. Well, there was a double mix-up out there. The batsman, the fieldsman. And at the end of the day, they managed to cross for a single. But have a look at this. First of all, the batsmen get themselves in a terrible tangle. Yes, no, wait, yes, come. The fieldsmen come together and another tangle. Well, it's all happening out there, and this capacity crowd loving every second of it.
And 33 very, very valuable runs coming from the bat of Jeff Lawson. But it's Rackerman facing. And
Hook, line and sinker. Rackerman clean bowled by Bob Willis, and that's the end of the Australian innings. Well, all Bob Willis did there was run up and bowl it dead straight. And it seemed to me that Rackerman played all round that one, Fred.
Nice full pitch, and Rackerman bat and pad nowhere near together, hitting the middle stump and making a right mess of them. And Bob Willis finishing off Australia's innings, all out for 180. And Rackerman out for naught. I think possibly.
Well, that's a very small target to defend for Australia. 181 for England to win, and they only need to score at 3.62 per over. It was a good performance by the England bowlers there to dismiss them for that figure, and only Geoff Lawson's batting towards the end enabled Australia to get up to set 181 as the target for victory for England. We pick up play now in the second over of the England innings. 11 runs are on the board. Gower has made 9. Thompson is coming in to bowl to him. In the commentary box, it's Ian Chappell and Keith Stackpole.
Jeff Thompson to David Gower. Bit of swing for Jeff Thompson, and David Gower has hit it straight to David Hooks, and a wry smile there from Jeff Thompson. It might have just been a slower delivery. Either that or a real loosener up from Jeff Thompson. Whatever it was, Australia have got the breakthrough they needed.
They certainly have, and that's the wicket they wanted. David Gower is looking in a very threatening mood, taking 9 runs from the first over of Geoff Lawson. But with Thompson coming into the attack from the other end, he's quickly dismissed David Gower. One on the pads, trying to work off the pads by David Gower, and just reaching David Hooks. Going down on the knees, but safely into both hands. Just forward square leg, and just reaching there. And that's the breakthrough that Australia wanted. And England 1 for 11.
Thompson from the Randwick end to Lamb. And that's got to be a wide. And it'll be 4 of them.
Interested viewer in the crowd, Elton John.
More outswing, and this has got the wicket as Tavares lofts away into the covers. And quite a simple catch there for Alan Border. So eventually that outswing has paid off for Carl Rackham. Australia get their second wicket with the score at 44.
That poor batting with Australia card we showed you before, certainly going on to face the Englishmen. Bad shot from Chris Tavares, looking for the big cover drive. No movement of the feet and just spooned. Simple catch out to Alan Border, who picked it up quite nicely. And that's another breakthrough for Australia. Another wicket to Carl Rackham. 4 in Melbourne. Another one here. And England 2 for 44.
Bowling, second crop. Walking into it, Randall, and Rackham strikes again. A vital wicket for Australia. The shuffling Randall was bowled clean as a whistle by Rackham, and that's now 3 for 53.
It's a very good delivery, one angling in and then swinging away off from middle to off stump, and Rackham very happy with that, and a great delivery, and Randall out for 5, sorry, and England now 3 for 53.
They're the English bowling figures, using 6 bowlers. Bob Willis, and you can see from the top there that Willis and Cowans didn't complete their allocated 10 overs, largely because Marks and Miller bowled so well. The other bowlers, Jesty and Botham, and the most successful was Miller with 3 for 28. Vic Marks got 2 for 27 and Cowans 2 for 20. Well fielded, and there's a mix-up. Botham was running there, and that must have been pretty close. And Botham took off, and I think Lamb probably called for the single. And then when he saw the good bit of fielding there, had second thoughts.
Good piece of fielding this. Diving across. Alan Lamb in full flow. And in fact, if Geoff Lawson had caught that ball, I think and take the bails off, I think Alan Lamb would have been out. It was as close as that.
Well, have a look at that. The red sky at night, the shepherd's delight. It's the view in the background at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The lights, of course, are on.
Ian Botham and Alan Lamb can put together, and Tony Greig quite rightly pointing out the depth of England's batting with Bob Taylor at number 9, but Bob Taylor would be hoping that he was not needed this evening.
Well, he's bowled it. That's a big breakthrough for Australia. Ian Botham, clean bowled by Carl Rackham. Well, he certainly did him then. Botham on the back foot, trying to force the ball through the offside. Got one that seemed to nip back just a little bit and rushed onto him. He was beaten for pace too.
Ball coming back off the seam. In fact, Ian Botham playing across the line of the ball. and eventually it knocked back the leg stump, and that is a great breakthrough for Australia, because Ian Botham was starting to look a little bit dangerous. It's now 4 for 95.
Chappell comes in now, and Lamb is taking strike. And there's a beautiful stroke by Alan Lamb. Magnificent piece of timing, that. Chappell had no chance even to bend down to make the effort to save. And England go past the 100 mark. Thompson to Jesty. In the air. Well, out there Thompson won't believe it. No one will believe it. John Dyson, who is such a safe fielder, just lost it.
What happened, said John Dyson, that was the simplest of dolly catches. Now watch this. It seems that must have gone into the lights, and Dyson lost it completely and didn't judge it at all. He knew it was coming his way, but there's no way, according to what he's saying there, that he saw that ball. He's absolutely aghast, and what a miss that was.
He seemed to judge it all right. He got into position, but it just happened to be the wrong position.
Well, and a good delivery from Jeff Thompson. Alan Lamb giving himself a bit of room, attempting to cut. And so 49 is still the top score in this game so far.
Thompson well wide, angling it right in at Lamb, and Lamb trying to cut a ball on middle and off, and paid the penalty. Well bowled, Jeff Thompson. England now 5 for 131.
Jeff Miller, the new man to face Jeff Thompson. Thompson with 2 for 20 against his name. A good delivery from Thompson, the new batsman, right at the stumps. Inside edge from Miller. There's a mix-up, and there's going to be a run out at the bowler's end. David Hooks with a good piece of fielding there. And Trevor Jesty took off for the run. Jeff Miller didn't respond, and that's just the breakthrough that Australia needed to follow on the earlier wicket of Jeff Thompson.
What a great game this is, hey? All of a sudden, 2 quick wickets, and the whole thing changes. Mix up there, David Hooks right onto it, straight over the top, and England now in a little bit of trouble, 6 for 131.
Vic Marks facing Rodney Hogg.
That's a good delivery, and it's gone to second slip, and it's gone down. That was the man that Rodney Hogg asked for. The second slip, Kepler Vessels, and straight to him.
Well, what a great piece of bowling. Rod Hogg's nominated it. Someone in there, straight to him, and straight to the ground. How unfortunate for Australia. I think that would have wrapped it up for England. Rodney Hogg doing his job. He's bowling very, very accurately, and putting the pressure on the English batsman. He's done an excellent job here today. Bowled really straight, made them play at almost everything. And you can't ask for anything more in a one-day game from a fast bowler.
Well bowled, Rodney Hogg. That's got to be close. Mel Johnson has adjudged him LBW. That was always going to be very close. And there's a reward for bowling straight for Rodney Hogg.
Great piece of bowling, and that was salmon trout, as the Australian manager would say. Definitely out. Umpire Mel Johnson confirming that. And England now in a spot of bother, 7 for 135.
What a great spell of bowling that was from Rodney Hogg. 10 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 15, and not one boundary shot from the England batsman off the bowling of Rodney Hogg. A great piece of bowling.
Chappell asked a question of umpire French. Marks fraction forward.
You look at the pressure on the batsmen and the bowlers, Bill, but equally as much pressure on the umpires in a situation like this.
Chappell bowls now to Bob Taylor.
It's close, got to be close. Yes, he's out. Taylor trying to hit across the line of that from Greg Chappell on the stumps. There wasn't much doubt about that one, and tremendous relief from the Australian vice-captain. The crowd's gone mad. Can Australia pull off this miraculous victory with 180 runs on the board?
And the crowd erupted. Bob Taylor was given out LBW, looking to try and hit the ball down the ground. Greg Chappell always concentrating on the stumps. See Bob Taylor looking for it, hit the back pad, and that was plumb. Would have hit middle stump about 3/4 of the way up. Very confident appeal from all the Australians. Umpire Dick French having a good look, and the end of Bob Taylor, and England 8 for 142.
Chappell to Willis.
Bob Willis. He's gone first ball. Chappell on a hat-trick. The outswinger, big Bob Willis, 6'6", went forward, got an edge straight through to Rodney Marsh, and England 9 for 142. Pandemonium at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 42,000 fans shouting themselves hoarse. And what a bowling performance by the Australian team.
It was the quick man in Hobb, Lawson and company, but now it's Greg Chappell chipping in to polish off the tail. The one that just moved away off the seam. Bob Willis looking to get the outside edge, and an elated Greg Chappell. And look at this captain and vice-captain together, Kim Hughes and Greg Chappell. And the forlorn England captain makes his way to the dressing room, out first ball without scoring.
And Bob Willis must be wondering what he has to do to win a match. He captained the side superbly today. Australia all out for 180. The English batsman once again very fragile against pace. And young Norman Cowans in front of 42,000 chanting fans comes out. Every foot of feel like 2 miles as he makes his way to the crease. The crowd very pro-Australian today. The Australian vice-captain on a hat-trick. This big Bob Willis lunges forward with the angled bat. A fine edge, and Rodney Marsh swallows it in those big gloves. 9 for 142, and it's all over for England as the 9th man comes out, the final man, 10th man Cowans. 39 runs required, 1 wicket in hand and 11 overs remaining. Norman Cowans would be nervous as a kitten. That bat will be feeling like a toothpick in his massive hands. Vic Marks is saying it's only a game, son.
You reckon he's really saying that, Bill? With Greg Chappell on a hat-trick. Kim Hughes, he's not carried away by it. Still maintaining the same field. Just Rodney Marsh, the one man behind the stumps.
Greg Chappell on a hat-trick. And Norman Cowan bat and pad together. At least he saved the day for England as far as hat-tricks are concerned.
Could be the Yorker to Norman Cowan's, Bill.
Could be, and it's 36 runs. That's only 6 sixes in his way of thinking. Goes for the Yorker, that's good bowling, and they are confused, the Englishmen. Marks and Norman Cowans looking at each other. Marks on strike. Drive beautifully through the covers. There's runs here. Rackeman's after it. Turn for 2. Big Carl Rackeman puts in the big ones and knocks it back. They're through for 3. Will they go through for 4? Norman Cowans wants it. Great effort by Carl Rackeman. He spread eagled the rope down on the boundary. He gave 200% there for his team.
Desperate cricket by Carl Rackeman, who was getting away from him, and he made the final last lunge at it. Very importantly, pushed it back.
He's a bit sore, the big man, but he's happy. Norman Cowans on strike for the last ball with Lawson's over. Full pitch, he's got it away down the final egg. Dyson's coming around. Just the one. Boy, oh boy. 9 for 149. Well, there's a comparison. The difference is the wickets. 2 vital wickets. It's Greg Chappell and Norman Cowans, young hero of the Melbourne Test. He's bowling! That's it, Chappell the hero. England all out for 149, and a great spell in the 11th hour by the Australian vice-captain. You think they're a happy team? As well they might be. They've bowled England out for 149. A very happy Australian vice-captain. A delirious 42,000 spectators. And that's a great victory. They were never in this match. until their bowlers bowled a great line of length. Hogg, Lawson, Rackerman, Thompson and Chappell. Victory by 31 runs to the Australian team, and if ever they earned one, they earned this one at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Their batsmen were ordinary, their bowlers were absolutely magnificent.
And also their fieldsmen, Bill. Tremendous effort by the Australians. Looked so it was a foregone conclusion halfway through the England innings, but what a great fight back. Not one of the 42,000 people has left this Sydney Cricket Ground, and the crowd absolutely erupted with that final wicket.
Well, who would have thought that could happen? 149 all out in 41.1 overs. And yet midway through that innings, I thought England were skating it in when Alan Lamb and Ian Botham were together. Lamb played quite well for 49, and Botham was just starting to move when he was bowled by Rackerman, who he played on to Rackerman for 18. And then the slide came, and the England batsmen could do nothing about it. The Australians played very well, they bowled well, they pulled themselves together in the field, and Hughes marshalled his force as well, and his tactical sense was very good out there. I thought Hogg and Rackerman were outstanding with the ball. Hogg's figures of 10 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 15 were very, very good. In fact, they are a just reward for some extremely good bowling. Rackerman, player of the match, 3 for 28 from 8 overs and 1 maiden. And Thompson Lawson, who were very much astray early on and bowled lots of wides and no balls, still came in with their share of good performances there. Greg Chappell, 3 for 17 at the end, 5.1 overs. And Hughes, I thought, did just the right thing in bringing him on when he did. He had to choose the moment when he knew that it was no good just keeping runs down, and he attacked, got the wickets, and Greg Chappell at the end, bowling medium pace, did the job for him. So 42,030 people here at the Sydney Cricket Ground for this fixture today against England and tonight. And in the first match down in Melbourne, there were 46,000. So the limited over matches here already drawing in splendid fashion. Good night.